this week's show is all about waterfowl. My waterfowl passion started with my father. I started duck hunting with him when I was super little, and we're still duck hunting together today. And what's neat is I got my 3 boys into it, and they absolutely love it. Well, I've enjoyed some great waterfowl hunts over the years, not only with my dad, but also with the boys, and we always have a good time. Well, out of the 3 boys and me, Seth is by far the best caller. So when Seth's calling and he sets up the spread, well, things usually work out pretty dang good. Seth has some great dogs and he enjoys taking them out and getting them to work as well. And Seth has really got the dogs working pretty dang good. Well, Seth went out this last year down in Texas with the guys from Final Descent Guide Service, and they had an absolute blast. You talk about pulling in some birds, holy chowder, the geese, the cranes. These guys had an absolute blast.
Well, we're out here with Final Descent Guide Service and gonna have a fun hunt here. Starting out, we're gonna do all kinds of stuff, but good buddy Gunner gonna lead the way, put us on some geese, put us on some ducks.
Well, if I go out by myself or I take the boys, a lot of times it's real easy. I'll go up, maybe set up a couple decoys, or I'll slip up. One of my favorite ways is to catch some birds coming off a pond, coming off one of the frog ponds, or just sneaking along the river and trying to shoot them along the river.
So we're about to go jump shoot. I was driving into the ranch and I saw 2 mallards. And so me and Dad are about to go jump shoot them.
Let's go get them. There's a little pond on the farm, and a lot of times the ducks will pile in there. And even if there's not a lot, sometimes there's just a couple. So me and Trent went sneaking up on this pond, and Trent had told me there's 2 ducks. There's a drake and a hen mallard. And I'm like, awesome. I'm ready for some roast duck. Let's slip up and get them. Well, we slip up, and there are way more than just 1 drake and 1 hen. And they started flushing and jumping around, and we got lucky. We threw up, and we ended up each dropping a bird.
They're there, center.
Crap. We got 2. We got 2. Holy cow. They were everywhere.
I didn't.
You said there were 2 of them. All of a sudden I was like, there's ducks jumping up everywhere.
There was not 2 there.
Well, a lot of times I like just going out by myself. Sometimes just to catch the action, I'll put a GoPro on my head and slip up and see if I could jump some ducks myself. Sometimes I get pretty dang lucky. The other day I slipped out. There was 3 ducks, 2 drakes and a hen. They split up and I got the drake on the left, then I shot the drake on the right, and I was pretty dang excited.
Dropped them both. That's how you do it. How sweet is that? Little pond right here. I got a mallard dead right there in the bank. Another drake mallard right there. There was 3 of them, 2 drakes and a hen. Swung on this drake first, dropped him right there. And then the hen I swept past and then came over here to this other drake and dropped him. 2 shots, 2 mallards. And using the Mossberg, this is the Pro Waterfowl. This is the 935. And I'd say it's working pretty sweet. Got a little lucky there, quick shots. But let's go pick up 2 beautiful ducks. There's one pretty bird. The other one almost made it over the hill. It's down right up here. Not a bad little brace of mallards, if I do say so myself. A lot of people ask what I do when I'm not guiding. Fred, what do you do when you're not guiding clients? What do I do? I hunt. I call in predators. I play with cattle. That sounded weird. I work cattle. That sounds way cooler and tougher. So, gotta love it. Welcome 2024. Looks like it's gonna be a good year.
Kill him. Shoot him.
I think that was mostly you. There we go. All right, let's go get him. There we go.
Right here. So although Seth really enjoys not only going out with his buddies, going out with his brothers, going out with his friends and calling in ducks and geese, a lot of times when it's just me, I'll just grab whatever and slip out and try and get a couple ducks. And sometimes it's while I'm doing something totally that has nothing to do with duck hunting. But if I see a duck, it's gonna turn into a duck hunt.
Feeding cows this morning and noticed that there's a couple mallards in one of the little ponds. I call it the frog pond because I shoot a lot of frogs there with the boys. But I'm gonna slip down there and see if I can get a duck dinner.
The other day I was feeding cows, spotted a couple ducks in the frog pond, so I slipped up with the old Mossberg and I ended up getting a drake and a hen out of that group as well.
Woo! That's some shooting. That's not too shabby. Pretty happy with that. So I got some dinner. Pretty brace of ducks right there. That's pretty cool. Feeding cows and saw a couple ducks in this little pond. Shot 3 times and got 2 out of 3. But that's gonna be dinner tonight. So I'm not too disappointed in that. That's gonna be yummy.
So a lot of times when we're duck hunting, it's not the huge, big decoy spread. It's just grabbing a shotgun and jumping them off the river, jumping them off a pond, or like this next one, shooting a couple geese when they just fly over our heads and we're waiting for them to come by in range.
We got a couple. There was a bunch of them there though, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, there was one. I thought it would drop. I put 3 shells on it, and I know it wasn't bad shots. It was
do, do, do. It was like, I could see its feathers moving.
It was wearing a bulletproof vest.
I was like, how are you not dying?
Kevlar feathers.
Kevlar, I like that.
I've seen that before. I've seen that.
I've seen that before.
Well, been pretty fun with the boys. Went out this morning for a quick hunt. We shot a couple geese. Trent shot a beautiful green-winged teal. Had some close calls on a few others, but this week's been awesome. Jeb and Seth took out Skip from Waterfowl magazine, and those guys limited those guys out with a bunch of nice geese. They've been shooting some cranes. Seth just went down to Texas last week with Gunner, one of the guides here at Full Draw Outfitters, and they limited out on a bunch of cranes and a bunch of geese. So it's waterfowl season. The big game season here in Colorado is done, sadly, but it'll start up soon. Spring turkey will start here in a few months, but right now we're working on some waterfowl and having a pretty good time.
But usually when Seth goes out, well, you're gonna spend an hour to an hour and a half setting up decoys. He's gonna move them all the time because if something's not perfect, he's gotta adjust the decoys, of course. And then you're there and it's gonna be a pretty amazing hunt. But then it's time to pick up all those decoys. So sometimes I go for simple. Well, all the boys are pretty incredible shots. I hate to admit it, but they outshoot me pretty dang good now. But we have a blast, not only out there shooting together, but watching the dogs work. One of the fun things for me is watching Seth's dog, Barley, or Sage, get out there and retrieve the birds. Watching the dogs work is as much a part of the hunt as anything else. So when I go out by myself, I'm usually the bird dog picking them up. But one of the advantages to going out with Seth, or even when Seth goes down with the guys from Final Descent Guide Service, watching the dogs work, well, that's a big part of it.
Got our limit. Ducks didn't play very well, but Barley had fun, we had fun.
Well, my dad got me into it, I got the boys into it, and my hope is that one day they'll take their own kids out and take them out after some waterfowl.